Now we have in the studio Bright Shadows. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Really good, thanks.
Yeah, it's really, I've been thinking about having you guys in, but I wanted to get you in at the right time because you guys are very talented. So thank you for coming over.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So can you introduce yourselves individually? Now, obviously, people can hear a guy and a lady. They're thinking, no, it's not one person, you know. So,
I'm Helen. And,
Okay.
I play guitar and do vocals in the duo.
Okay.
Yep, I'm Raji and I do pretty much the same.
Okay. It was funny because I read the description on your Facebook page and it was Helen, lead vocals, guitarist, lead guitar, Raji, lead vocals, and I thought, okay, that's pretty easy to remember. And you guys are Bright Shadows.
Yeah.
Now, how did you? Before I get into that question, Bright Shadows in a few sentences. What are you guys? Who are you guys?
Well, we met at open mic a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it started out with just kind of saying let's try out working on each other's songs and seeing how it sounds.
Okay.
And it kind of we did probably one song of each of ours and then a cover, and then it sounded good and we kept gigging more regularly. Eventually thought, we need a name now.
Okay. So you met at an open mic. That's interesting though. Okay. And you going to the open mic you didn't think, okay, I'm going to get a band member there. You just went there to perform your songs.
Yeah, I mean,
no, not really.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I was just doing music as a hobby, and every now and then sort of going to an open mic. And I never expected to sort of take it anywhere.
Now I'm that's interesting because I see your feeds, okay, and you guys have gone from just an open mic, not just because open mics are great, okay, and there's some great open mics out there, from playing maybe just open mics into gigging a lot now, and you're playing some pretty decent venues. So I just want to say a massive shout out to all of you guys that host open mic nights. And this is a nice tip for you guys that are playing open mics to know that you can actually become something from an open mic. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, as I say, when I first started, and Raj as well, we were both working full-time. I was a full-time teacher, and I literally did open mics on the nights when I wasn't at home marking. And then, we started to get some good feedback, and I think we thought, we could actually do something with this. And
it was just, I only gigged like a few times when I was at uni, and when I came back to Reading, it was just, I just wanted something to kind of keep the music going.
Right.
So I found one open mic which ran every Wednesday, which is Boho, which is where we met. And it was just literally just something so that I didn't lose that music, and I didn't really at that time expect to be here, kind of making EPs and kind of doing festivals and things like that. So it's gone quite rapidly. This
is very interesting because I've never had an act who's met through an open mic, so this is going to go somewhere that I didn't intend for it to go. Now I have a script generally, but I never keep to my scripts, as you guys that listen know, so my apologies if I ask all sorts of questions. You guys, this is awkward, but you smell of music, as in I can tell you not literally, okay, but I can tell you live and breathe music, okay? What's music to you? Could you live without music?
No.
Not at this point, no. I think we're way too too deep now.
Invested emotionally, and it's we're pot committed, I think.
I mean, we're trying to make a living out of it. That's what we're doing at the moment. Okay. So it's gone from being a little hobby that you do on the side to actually becoming the main focus of our lives. So, and I suppose this year and next year and the kind of near future at the moment is geared towards seeing what we can do with it. And
how long have you played together for?
2 years, just coming up to 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting though, because I see commitment and how you guys have taken something. I know people who've been playing, and I love everyone, but people who've been playing for a lot longer than that, but who are not as tenacious as you guys are. So you guys are bringing some vibes, and I'm going to try and go to my to my notes, okay, and my questions that I've put on here to ask you guys. And when did you start individually now? When did you start singing? When did you first... And don't tell me because I heard a person once say they just were born singing, and I thought...
No, I didn't take singing seriously till quite late, actually. I probably just sang songs with my sister when I was growing up, but nothing really majorly until maybe I was 16. That's when I first started playing guitar.
Okay.
And it was only then that I tried to learn some of my favourite songs and then started singing along to them. and making the odd random little video or something, upload it to YouTube or something, get about 20 views.
Right.
And it wasn't till I went to uni really that I had an opportunity to do a gig, and it was just at the time I thought it would probably just be a one-off, and just from enjoying it so much, I just felt right, I want to do that again. And it kind of, then when uni finished, it and came back to kind of just wanting to carry that on. I mean, I've never really enjoyed public speaking or anything like that, so the fact that I never really thought I'd be enjoying singing when I was growing up, so it probably came to me quite late, actually.
That's before we go to Helena. That's quite. I was thinking that actually, because 16.
Yeah. I mean, I was at 16. If someone said Roger's a singer, I'd be like, what?
And it's interesting because the first person that commented about you said to me, this was before I actually met you guys. They said Bright Shadows. They sound much better live, and they were talking about your vocals, and you don't generally hear that from people who start singing when they're 16. So you clearly have. And one of the reasons we have this show is the show's called Real, is because we're hoping that musicians will be real and inspire people who are thinking about taking that next step to actually realise it's possible. And you're saying that about you starting at 16, so it's never too late to
I mean, at 16 I didn't sing, I didn't know how to play guitar, so it was very late, kind of drilled into me. So
okay. Yeah. Helen?
I was actually the opposite in a way, in the sense that I was always singing, and I had a very, even if I wasn't singing, I was making noise, and my teachers at school would say to my mum that they knew without taking the register whether I was in class or not, because it would be so much quieter. And my brothers used to call me a foghorn.
Wow. Okay.
And I was always like singing songs and recording myself singing, and my class teacher heard me singing in the playground and then cast me as in the main singing role in the school play when I was 9. So for me, I've been singing for
a long time.
And then I was in school choirs and things like that. And
that's that's like you say, it's just the opposite, but you guys are a perfectly matched duo, because your vocals and the listeners are going to hear you sing soon, and I don't like to let me just hold that back for now, but that's very interesting, and I really like what you guys are saying. Now I'm going to go to my next question. What inspires you to write a song? Now, it's interesting the responses I get from this question, okay, but what inspires you to write songs? Because you're both songwriters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when it started out, like when I said when I was 16, being a moody teenager, probably the usual things kind of inspired me to start out. But then, just I suppose as well, just from being on the open mic circuit, you see a lot of different styles of performers, and even people who you maybe wouldn't have thought you could end up inspiring you. I mean, just so many different people that I've seen play. Musically, that can inspire you to do different things. Lyrically, I think it's probably more. I mean, I probably enjoy writing more darker songs than happy songs. I think I'm good at writing happy songs, but yeah, I mean, without going into any personal details, it's probably, I'd say that.
I would say the same. Well, I mean, I used to make up silly songs when I was a kid. I remember I would make up silly songs on the keyboard and just silly words. I loved animals. I loved dogs, so I might make up a song about how much I love doggies, for example.
That's interesting. Okay.
When I was really little, and then when I became a teenager, it was all really bad poetry that got turned into song lyrics with bad chords strummed on the guitar, and eventually I it sort of matured a bit.
Right. You might be doing one of them silly dog songs tonight, would you? Well, that's interesting though, because I've heard certain songs that if you take the lyrics and get just the title, you think that's a silly song, but when you're listening to the lyrics, it all makes sense. So I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, actually, a lot of the time I write a song and I don't actually know what it's about.
Right.
But then about a year later or something, I'll realise what it's about.
Can you explain that a bit more?
So, I might just sort of be playing something and then I'll sing a melody, and then whatever words come out, I'll sort of twist them around and make them into something that makes sense.
Right.
But it will all be based on a feeling, so it'll be coming from the basic emotion, and I won't necessarily know what the song's about. But then a year later, or so many months down the line, it's actually sort of it's almost like an exercise in psychoanalytic.
Or maybe at the time you can't reveal what the song's about because.
Well, no, I think it's like I don't. Yeah, it's like almost a way of analysing what I was feeling before, and it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, that's what that song was about.
Well, that's interesting though, because I mean, a lot of times as musicians, you probably have never done it because you guys are awesome. You want to write a hit song, and you get a pen, but they never come. But if you go by what you're saying, just your intuition and what you're feeling at the time, those songs, would you say in your experience, ends up reaching more people than you would have?
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's some tip for you guys out there. And I've heard, you're not the first person I've heard say that actually. So it's not psycho. I think it's a cool thing. It's a feeling. So what do you get? Do you get the words first? I know you get the feeling. Do you get the chords or the words?
I usually get
it's music first for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say music first as well.
Music first, then you try and get words to fit what you're.
Yeah, I'm probably better at writing like pieces of music that fits an emotion better than. I mean, I've never really been brilliant with words or poetry or anything like that. So
you sound like you went to Oxford, though.
No.
Posh accent,
I definitely didn't. No, I've got a boring southern accent, but I didn't go to Oxford.
No, okay. No. You could pass for an MP, man. The haircut as well.
Yeah, with the new hairstyle, probably. Yeah.
So yeah, I must let you know these guys are looking swish, and Raji has an absolutely amazing haircut here. I was thinking about getting a webcam, man. In the studio, and people to actually see what musicians look like.
Yeah, I have 2 haircuts a year, and it caught me at the right time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try and get you at the right time every time then. This is awesome. Now, have you've been gigging 2 years, you would have had certain highlights. Have you had any highlights you'd like to share so far?
It's sort of every year, it's sort of got better and better, and we've had sort of more.
There's I suppose CavFest as being an example of that was the first festival we played together. And then the following year we were headlining the acoustic tent there.
Yeah.
And this year, hopefully, we've got quite a few festival gigs coming up. Every year is kind of trying to play to bigger crowds and stuff like that. I don't know what the best one was.
Probably one of the festivals last year. I think getting a really.
Foxfest was good.
Foxfest was good in Thiel. Got a really good response there. It's always and it feels like an achievement when you play a gig and
playing
you get
a festival on a real stage.
On a real stage. No, it does it. That makes a difference though, and a lot of musicians have said this as well. And would you say crowd response kind of takes your music to the next level when you're playing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we played one gig, didn't we, where we were stuck in a room that I don't know why the landlord thought this was.
Right, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Don't mention the name of that.
She's listening now.
In Scotland, in the Bear in Scotland.
Yeah,
But the landlord thought it was a good idea to have all the people in the bar in a separate room and just have us playing in a room on our own.
That's cool.
With the music coming through the speakers in the bar. But of course, anybody who's a musician knows that part of the energy that you get comes from the audience. So it was just.
It was, a live rehearsal.
Yeah, it was just very strange.
That would have been very interesting. Yeah, how did you sometimes forget and start talking?
No, it was.
I think
are they listening?
I think we had enough, didn't we?
We just got a bit cheesed off with it, and kind of.
We just left, didn't we?
We left early. We didn't finish. We didn't do the full set.
Okay.
Well, I mean, literally no one was listening.
It was
apart from ourselves. I think that was about it.
It just was a terrible setup.
So how would you? This leads me to a question actually that I haven't written down. But how important? Now I've only in the last couple of years realised this. How would you say choosing the right venue is important for your music?
I think generally we are really adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
So we can generally assess a venue and what sort of music will go down well there.
So would you go to a classic piano bar and sing?
Probably not, no. Okay, probably, yeah. I mean, we were like...
Our music is quite upbeat, I think.
Yeah.
And, it goes down well in kind of lively kind of atmospheres, and it depends. I mean, we do original stuff, and we do kind of cover gigs as well. So, we're good at... If we play a venue once and we go back again, we usually know what they like. So
Yeah. That's good, and it's very interesting because I was saying to you guys off air as well that you played a cover that I thought was an original, because and I have a good friend of mine who's a guitarist. He said when you can play an original that sounds like a cover, which means sounds like you're singing the song of an established act, then you've done a great job. And I heard you guys do some covers that sounded like originals and originals that sounded like cover. I just couldn't tell what was what, which I thought was great. Now we're going to hear you sing in a bit, okay? But you guys are saying some really key and important stuff. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then you guys are going to head over to the live room, and you're going to do us a couple of songs, and we're going to talk about your EP after the break and all that stuff. But your ambitions as musicians, and don't give me no humble stuff, okay? Come on,
Jules Holland next year.
Yeah. boom. Okay, that's some big ambition.
No, I mean, I think so. I mean, the first year that we played together, we just played CavFest, and last year we had a few festivals. This year we've got a few more festivals, and they're getting bigger, and so just carrying on, sort of playing to.
Yeah, I mean, the original music side of things, definitely, in
terms of that,
just, recording, writing new songs and playing as many venues as we can.
Okay.
And that has been increasing every year, so.
So would you want to say so in the next 12 months, where do you see Bright Shadows?
I mean, it would be nice to become a big name in Reading, I think, because that's where most of our that's our kind of hub at the moment. And there's lots of there's lots of kind of bands that everyone in Reading knows. It would be nice to kind of this time next year to kind of be at that level where people in Reading know us, I suppose, and then kind of branch out from there. I mean, people in Reading do know us, but there are some big names.
Yeah,
it would be nice to kind of be up there with them.
I quite like to sort of. It would be nice to break into London a bit as well.
Yeah,
that's where I heard. This is interesting. I don't know if I believe this because I've only played like 2 gigs in London. But a person said to me, a radio producer and presenter on Radio 1, he said, if you have to live in London, or you must be able to get to London regularly to be successful in the music industry. But then you think about people like Emily Sandé and people who never really went to London and broke through. So I don't know, what's your view on that? Do you think London is... do you gig in London a lot?
Well, we've got a gig in Camden coming up in a couple of weeks.
29th April, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean...
It's something that we're definitely looking to break into. Yeah. I think, while trying to kind of become an established name in Reading, we're still trying to kind of play... I mean, we're playing gigs not just in Reading, we're playing all over the place at the moment, but it's branching out to new venues as well as kind of carrying on in Reading. But
if
London definitely will be great.
To get into London comes up.
I mean, we live not too close to London, but still close enough to be able to gig. And
that's good. And don't forget to give some feedback after your gig in Camden. You've got to let us know.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. So we're going to take a very short break, and Bright Shadows are going to go straight into the live room to set up, and we're going to hear some beautiful song from them just after this. And you are listening to Radio Woking. We just had Bright Shadows live in session. That was a pretty awesome performance you guys done there. Now, what were the names of the tracks you played?
Yeah, it was Going Down, the first one, and then Negative Eye.
So Going Down and Negative Eye. Now,
yep.
You got to let us know what inspired those songs, man.
You first.
Well, Going Down, I suppose it's quite ironic, really, that we're singing that now. I suppose it's about being stuck in a life that you don't really enjoy, and I suppose I wrote it before I had really taken this plunge into music. So, well, I'm not quite there yet, but I suppose it's just kind of being frustrated at kind of living a life or living a career that you're not really getting much out of, and you're kind of looking outside at someone else who is living the life that you are. And I suppose that's what that song is about.
Okay, what about the other song?
Negative Eye, I suppose, is about sort of freeing yourself from allowing your actions to be dictated by people who bully you or think of you in a negative way, or sort of always feel the need to criticise.
Right.
And actually and I'm realising as well that you can be that person sometimes. So sometimes you can always, it's easy to see the negative in things, and actually
So those both songs are very, very. They're not just jams. You know, they're well-written songs, which you've actually given some thought into. So where can people? These tracks are going to be on an EP that's going to be available on iTunes.
Yeah, we're currently recording for at the moment at Silver Street, so we're kind of 2 days into it. We've got the basic layout done, but we're hoping to have it released probably early June. We haven't got a specific date yet, but we're aiming for our festival. Our first festival is on the 6th of June, I think. So we're hoping to have it for then.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have hard copy CDs as well.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. We're probably gonna go all out.
Yeah.
Hard copies. And, I don't know about t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite at the t-shirt stage. We were talking about ambitions earlier. We're not there yet.
Because you said you're just going to go all out, so I thought, okay.
No, in terms of selling the music,
I
think we'll have it hard copy and on iTunes and everything. Probably.
Okay. Now, obviously there isn't a date yet, so you guys have a Facebook page that people can like, so they can they can stay posted on what you're doing. Okay, and if there's any changes, because some people would have listened and thought, okay, I really like the sound of that, so they can like your Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Bright Shadows Music.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't forget the music, because if you search Bright Shadows, that may be
there's a lot of
rather vague.
stuff,
okay,
yeah.
Of course, yeah. You don't want to.
I think there's some kind of cartoon series called Bright Shadows.
Or a game or something.
And these are real people; they're not cartoons. So you don't forget the music, Bright Shadows Music. Okay. Now you guys are gigging a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you playing anywhere local? So you spoke about London, but where in Woking? So where's Surrey based?
Well, we've got a gig in Surrey. On the 2nd of,
that's in Weybridge, isn't
in
it?
Weybridge. Okay. On the 2nd of May.
Posh side of Surrey.
It's at a place called the Elmbridge Arms. It's a 2-hour gig, I think, from 8 o'clock till 10, I think, on the 2nd of May. So
now, very few people can play guitars and get you dancing. Okay, no, this is true. And obviously, I play mellow music. Mellow music is great, but very few, and you guys can do that. Okay, so if you guys fancy a nice, meaningful night with Bright Shadows, pop over. Yeah, man. Yeah. Because your music is great. Now, we are looking forward to hearing from you guys soon, because you guys are putting in the work. Okay, and I'm convinced that if you work hard in music, you will make some living out of it. Because I know I've heard people say this. In fact, and I say this a lot on this show. A guy who works with a record label said this to me. He said, I know X Factor winners who earn less than I do. Yeah. And they're on TV, they look comfortable, but they're not. But he said, I know people who just love music and are playing, and they make far much money than, and it's not just about the money, but I bet you paid to have your hair cut.
It was £9, not too bad.
Of course.
It was
£9.
£9.
My goodness, that's... You're rich, man. You've got to help a brother out, man. Okay, I get where you're going with this. Now, yours would have cost like 70 quid or something.
Actually, I had a trim the other 2 days ago, and it cost me £30.
You could have just got a scissors out, man. Come on. For a trim.
For a trim.
Right.
That's the difference between being a man and being a woman.
I know.
The price of a haircut, yeah. I spent £30 on my hair probably in about 2 years. Yeah, oh well.
You're putting me to shame now, and I hope my missus isn't listening, because I spend a lot on my hair, because mine grows quite quick. Like every 3 weeks I have to cut my hair. So you're kind of, you shouldn't be saying this sort of stuff on there, man. £30 in. Okay, so I've had a grand time interviewing you guys. Now, one more time, if you missed the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Bright Shadows Music. They're going to be playing in Surrey, and you're going to post information about your upcoming gigs on the Facebook page as well. Now, you guys, of course. Now, how much would you, and I asked this question, and this is my closing question. I heard, actually, it was with you guys. You played at the Alex, and a lady walked up to me, and I've said this so many times, but remembering it was and she walked up to me and said, they're really good. And I said, go and tell them. And she said, oh, I bet they know they're good. And I said, walk over. And then I think I may have come over to you, or she walked over and said, that was really great. Now, how important is it? Because a lot of people assume you're semi-pros or pros, you clearly know you're good. How important is it to get feedback from listeners or an audience? How do you think that's important?
I think it is good to know that that you're. I mean, 'cause you want people to enjoy your music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first time you when you get into music, you do it for you, and then when you start to perform music, you're kidding yourself if you think you're still just doing it for you. Why would you go out into the public and do it? You are doing it for other people.
I like
so,
that.
you know, you do want to know that people are enjoying the music.
Might as well stay in your room, innit? If you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
Why would you put your song on iTunes if it's just for you?
Yeah.
Innit? So that's important. If you hear a song on Radio Woking or at a gig, say you went to their next gig, let them know you loved what they did, you know, and this would help motivate them to write more songs for you, because you said it perfectly. You write songs not just for you, okay, but you write songs so it can relate with people as well. I want to say a massive thank you to you guys for being a part of this show.
Thanks
today,
very much for having us. It was,
thanks.
really
It's
enjoyed
been
it.
great.
It's a pleasure. Now, final words from you guys.
Just.
Yeah.
Roger's like, we're going to be back here and we're going to be massive, you know? You know?
Just check us out. And,
hopefully, you can catch us at one of our gigs. Check out the Facebook page. We need to make a gig post, actually. We'll do that tomorrow.
You do that tomorrow. Awesome. Been a pleasure.
Thanks very much for
Okay,
having us.
thank you. We'll come to watch. I think, you know, as you said, you know, we definitely prefer the live vibe. So yeah, come and check us out and get a feel for the energy and.
You should do a gig in Woking.
Yeah, set us up.
Hashtag just saying. Yeah, might do. Okay, thank you. This has been a pleasure having these guys online. Don't forget, check them out. We've had a grand time. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. You've responded so well to our questions, and you stay tuned. Like Radio Woking's Facebook page. You can link up with me directly on Twitter at IamBRJames. And the next question for next week is going to go out on Monday, and I completely appreciate your support for this show. Keep well, stay good, and I will see you same time next week.
Radio Woking.